I used to spend 20 minutes teasing my roots every morning, and my hair still looked flat by lunch. Nobody tells you that. If your fine hair looks thin no matter what you do, you've probably been fighting the wrong battle this whole time. Today I'm walking you through 4 simple steps that actually work with thin hair instead of against it. Not more product, not more heat, just the right moves in the right order. I researched the styling mistakes and the real fixes that work for women over 50, so what I hand you here is tested, not guessed at. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, do it now. I cover hair fixes like this every single week. Part 1. The shampoo mistake that's weighing you down. Here's something that surprised me the first time a stylist told me. The shampoo bottle sitting in most women's showers is the #1 reason their fine hair looks thin by mid-morning. Not genetics. Not age. The bottle. Most shampoos marketed to older women are loaded with heavy conditioning agents meant to smooth and moisturize. And on thick hair, that's wonderful. On fine hair, those same agents coat each strand and weigh it flat against the scalp before you've even picked up a brush. If you've ever wondered why your hair looked full when you left the salon and lifeless the next morning at home, this is very likely the reason. And you are not the only one who's felt that specific letdown. I remember a client named Diane telling me she tried 6 different volumizing sprays over 2 years, convinced her hair was simply getting thinner with age. When we finally looked at what she was washing with, it wasn't her hair that had changed. It was the shampoo she'd switched to after a friend recommended it for aging hair. That word moisturizing on the label was doing exactly what it promised, just not what she needed. The fix is switching to a lightweight, volumizing formula specifically built for fine hair. And the phrase you want to say to a stylist or look for on a bottle is this: a sulfate-free volumizing shampoo formulated for fine or thin hair, not a moisturizing or smoothing formula. That distinction matters enormously. Volumizing formulas use lighter conditioning agents and often include ingredients like biotin or rice protein that coat the strand just enough to add body without collapsing it. You're not stripping your hair of moisture entirely. You're choosing a formula that respects how fine strands actually behave. Here's the part that actually changes how your day goes. Once you switch formulas, you'll notice your roots hold lift for hours longer, not because you're doing anything differently with a blow dryer, but because the hair itself isn't starting the day already weighed down. Diane told me the difference showed up within 4 washes. She said people started asking if she'd gotten a haircut, when really all she'd changed was what was in the bottle. That's the kind of result that makes you feel like you finally understand your own hair instead of fighting it. There's a second piece to this that most women skip: how much you're actually using. Fine hair needs far less product than the bottle suggests. A dime-sized amount is plenty for most heads of fine hair. Work through mid-lengths and ends only. Never massage directly into the roots and scalp the way you would with thicker hair. Applying it at the roots is often exactly what recreates the flattening problem you're trying to fix, even with the right formula. Think about the before and after here. Before, heavy moisture-rich shampoo applied generously at the roots, hair flat and clinging to the scalp by early afternoon. After, a lightweight volumizing formula, a dime-sized amount worked through the mid-lengths only, roots left free to hold their own natural lift throughout the day. That single swap, done correctly, is often the difference between hair that looks thin and hair that simply looks fine-textured and healthy. 2 very different impressions. But changing your shampoo is only step 1. And it's not even the step most women assume matters most. What you do in the 2 minutes right after you towel off is where the real transformation happens. And almost nobody is doing it correctly. Part 2. The 2-minute window nobody uses. There's a 2-minute window right after you get out of the shower, where nearly everything about how your hair will behave for the rest of the day gets decided. And most women spend it doing the exact thing that undoes any progress from switching their shampoo. You towel dry by rubbing vigorously, twist your hair up in a towel turban, and walk away to get dressed. It feels efficient. It's actually working against you in 2 separate ways at once. Rubbing wet fine hair with a towel roughs up the cuticle layer, and fine hair has less natural protection in that cuticle than thicker hair does, so the damage shows up faster as frizz and flyaways later in the day. Then wrapping it up tight in a turban for 10 or 15 minutes while you do your makeup presses the hair flat against your scalp in the exact pattern you're trying to avoid. And it sets that flatness in before you've even touched a styling product. You're essentially training your hair to lie down before you've had the chance to lift it up. I think about a woman named Marguerite who came and convinced her hair simply didn't hold volume anymore, no matter what she tried. Watching her get ready one morning, the problem was obvious within 30 seconds. She toweled hard, twisted it up, left it wrapped while she did her whole face. And by the time she picked up a brush, her roots had already dried flat against her scalp. No product in the world was going to undo that. The fix has two parts, and both take less effort than what you're doing now. First, swap the towel rub for a gentle press and blot motion using a microfiber towel, or even a soft cotton t-shirt, which is far kinder to the cuticle. Second, and this is the part that changes everything, apply your volumizing product to damp, unwrapped hair immediately, while it's still hanging loose, not after it's spent 15 minutes flattened under a turban. The phrase to remember is root lift mousse applied to damp hair at the roots, worked in with fingertips, not a brush. Mousse specifically, not a cream or a serum, because mousse dries with a light, buildable hold that lifts rather than weighs down. Here's what actually happens once you make that swap. Because the product goes on before the hair has had a chance to dry flat, it's holding the hair up as it dries, not trying to lift hair that's already set in a flattened position. Marguerite noticed it the very first morning. She said her part line looked wider, more open, the way it used to look years earlier. And she hadn't done anything different except the order and timing of 2 small steps. There's a small but important detail in how much mousse to use. A golf ball-sized amount of foam, worked between your palms first until it's evenly distributed, then pressed into the root section by section. Too much and you'll get a stiff, crunchy feeling once it dries. Too little, and it won't do anything at all. Most women find the right amount within 2 or 3 tries. And once you know it for good. The before and after on this step is quiet but real. Before, hair toweled roughly, twisted up tight, product applied later to hair that's already dried flat against the scalp. After, hair blotted gently, product applied immediately to damp, loose hair at the roots, drying with lift already built in rather than fighting to create lift afterward. It's not a dramatic sounding change, but it's the difference between hair that looks like it's trying to have volume and hair that actually has it. Getting the wet hair window right sets everything up for success, but there's a step after this one that most women skip entirely because they think it's optional. It isn't, and skipping it is quietly wasting everything you just did. Part 3. The drying technique working against every product you own. If you're doing everything right up to this point and still not seeing the volume you expect, the blow dryer is very likely where it's falling apart. Most women dry their hair the same way regardless of texture, and that one-size-fits-all approach is a real problem for fine hair specifically, because the direction and angle you dry in either builds volume into the hair or flattens it right back down, undoing the mousse, the shampoo swap, everything. The most common habit is drying with your head upright, and the dryer pointed straight down at the roots from above. It feels natural because that's how you're standing anyway. But drying straight down pushes the hair flat against the scalp in the exact direction gravity already wants it to go. You're essentially reinforcing the flatness instead of fighting it, even while technically drying your hair. A client of mine, Rosalind, described it perfectly. She said she'd dry her roots for a full 5 minutes, convinced more heat and more time would eventually create lift, and it never did. More time pointed in the wrong direction just means more thoroughly flat hair, dried and set that way. The fix is tilting your head forward or to the side while drying your roots, letting gravity work in the opposite direction instead of against you. The phrase to use is, dry the roots upside down or head tilted, using a round brush lifted away from the scalp, moving in the direction opposite to how the hair naturally falls. This flips the entire mechanic. Instead of pressing hair down, you're lifting it against its own weight while the heat sets that lifted shape in place. Once fine hair dries in a position, it tends to hold that position for hours, which is exactly why the direction matters so much more than the amount of heat or time. Here's the result that made Rosalind an instant believer. The first time she dried with her head tilted instead of upright, she said her roots held lift until she washed it out 3 days later. Not because her hair had changed, because the direction the heat set the hair in had changed. That's the entire secret hiding inside a step most women think they've already mastered. There's a temperature detail worth mentioning too. Fine hairstyles best on medium heat, not high. High heat dries the surface of a fine strand too quickly, which can actually make it more prone to flying loose rather than holding a smooth, lifted shape. Medium heat with more airflow gives the hair time to set into position gradually, which holds far better over the course of a day. The before and after here is dramatic in a way the earlier steps weren't. Before, head upright, dryer pointed straight down, roots pressed flat and set that way by the heat itself. After, head tilted, roots lifted against gravity with a round brush. Medium heat setting the lift in place for the whole day rather than the whole day fighting to hold a lift that was never really there. Rosalind's stylist told her it was the single biggest change she'd made in 20 years of getting her hair done. You've now fixed what you wash with, what you do in the 2 minutes after the shower, and how you dry. There's one step left, and it's the one that determines whether all of this actually lasts past 10 in the morning. Part 4. The finishing step everyone gets backwards. Here's the last piece, and it's the one that trips up even women who've nailed the first 3 steps perfectly. What you do once your hair is fully dry and styled. Most women reach for a heavy hairspray at this point, spraying generously all over, thinking they're locking in the volume they just worked so hard to create. For fine hair, that instinct is exactly backwards, and it's often the reason a great morning result collapses by early afternoon. Heavy, high-hold hairsprays are formulated with a stiff resin that coats the hair in a way thick hair can absorb without much visible change. Fine hair doesn't have the density to carry that same weight of product. The spray sits on the surface, and as the day goes on and that resin softens slightly from natural body heat and movement, the hair strands underneath start to collapse toward each other under the added weight. You end up with hair that looked full at 9 in the morning and looks strangely matted or clumped by 2 in the afternoon, even though you used more product, not less. I remember Colette describing this exact pattern to me almost word for word. She said her hair looked amazing for about 4 hours, and then seemed to give up all at once. That collapsing feeling wasn't her hair giving up. It was the hairspray doing precisely what a heavy hold formula does on fine strands that were never built to carry that kind of weight. The fix is switching to a lightweight, flexible hold spray, and applying it from a distance in short bursts rather than one heavy, close-range application. The phrase to use with a stylist or when shopping is a flexible hold, lightweight finishing spray for fine hair, applied from 12 inches away, not a maximum hold formula. Flexible hold formulas use a softer resin that holds the shape without adding the density that causes collapse later in the day. Spraying from further away also means the product disperses more evenly and lands lighter, rather than saturating one section with a heavy, concentrated blast. Colette switched formulas and changed her spraying distance in the same week, and she told me the difference was almost suspicious at first, because she assumed something else must have changed too. Nothing else had. Her hair held its shape through an entire afternoon of errands and a dinner out, which hadn't happened in years. That's the real result of getting the finishing step right. Not just how your hair looks at 9 in the morning, but how it still looks at 9 that night. There's one more small habit worth mentioning, because it multiplies everything else you've done. Once your hair is fully styled, resist the urge to keep touching, brushing, or restyling sections throughout the day. Fine hair holds its set shape best when it's left alone. Constant retouching breaks down the light hold from the finishing spray faster than normal wear would, and it can undo hours of careful drying technique in a matter of minutes. The before and after on this final step tells the whole story of everything we've covered today. Before, heavy hairspray applied close and generous, hair collapsing under its own product weight by early afternoon, hands constantly retouching a style that's already breaking down. After, a light, flexible hold spray applied from a distance, hair left alone to hold its shape naturally, volume intact from morning coffee through evening plans. That's not a bigger routine. It's 4 small corrections, done in the right order, working together instead of against each other. 4 small corrections, and none of them require new tools or extra time. The right shampoo formula, product applied to damp unwrapped hair, drying against gravity instead of with it, and a light finishing spray applied from a distance. That's the whole system, and now you actually know why each step works, not just what to do. Which of these 4 steps do you think has been working against you the most? Comment and let me know. I read every one. Next week I'm covering the cut that makes fine hair look twice as thick without a single product change. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.